the great irony on top of all that we've just talked about is Kamala Harris is now repositioning herself to be the one to save the day and to secure the border and make sure everything is going to be OK, despite the fact she's been in charge for the last 3.5 years and done absolutely nothing. But the rebranding of Kamala continues apace. She recently released a tweet. How's this for gaslighting the American public? As Attorney General of California, I prosecuted transnational criminal organisations that trafficked guns, drugs and human beings. I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. She could have added in brackets, which is why I allowed 13,000 murderers into the country. But she continued, today, I love this, today I visited the US-Mexico border. Hasn't been there much while she's been Vice President,
but
today,
time.
Yeah, with an election looming, she visited and spoke with Customs and Border Protection officials about our progress to secure our border and disrupt the flow of illegal fentanyl into our nation. And I can tell you, the Border Patrol officials were so thankful for her visit, so encouraged by it, and they are full of optimism that this represents a new day for the United States, as represented by this tweet from the Border Patrol Union. Get a go, look at this. This is their response. Vice President Harris has ignored the border problem she created for over 3 years. She goes down there for 20 minutes for a photo op and decides to repeat some of the things the NPBC has said before. But again, where's she been for the last 3.5 years? Kamala Harris is almost, Liz, repositioning herself as the challenger. In fact, her running mate, Tim Walz, said the other day, we can't have another 4 years of this, which was a Freudian slip, of course, because the last 4 years has been Kamala Harris. It's almost like she's running against herself.
Yeah, well, Trump has joked, I've got to get this woman a MAGA hat because she's now just copying from my playbook. She's going to be strong on the border all of a sudden. Unbelievable. But again, the border union weren't having a bar of this nonsense from Kamala today. In another tweet, they said, we have apprehended over 8 million illegal immigrants over the last 4 years, and now you realise we need more help 38 days before the election. So they're making it very well known. We have been frustrated for years. We have begged you for more resources. You have facilitated this invasion by design. This is not our fault. And don't you dare come down here at 2 minutes to midnight in your election campaign bed and make everyone think that, oh, you're going to turn it around now. Now you care. 38 days out to an election. Now you're saying, oh, yeah, this is my number one issue. Do me a favour. Meanwhile, her DOJ is persecuting one state for just being like, hey, we've just knocked about 3,200 illegals off our voter registration. And they're like, nope, not having any of it. We want those Democrats.
The tell here is that she's running as the former Attorney General of California, which she finished that job in 2017, and she's not running on her most recent role as Vice President of the United States.
And the borders are, by the way. During her term, she visited once.
Zarina, Caleb, please.
Oh, well, yes, yeah, good point. But, she visited once until now. I mean, this is her second visit to the border. She'd visited the border once as borders are, when we know that people were sent in to clean up the border so it didn't look like there were so many illegal migrants hanging around the joint. And, of course, part of her thing now is that she said she would bring back the formerly failed border bill. And part of that border bill was to recommence the construction of the wall. The wall that she had previously said was un-American, that she said was nonsense, that
she said she'd never support it.
Waste of money, she said.
Now she's saying build the wall. And I had to laugh. I'm sorry, I should have thought of this earlier so we could actually bring you the clip. But I played it on the US report on Friday. The Energy Secretary in the US being asked, who was, of course, a Democrat, being asked, so Kamala previously was not in support of the wall, said it was un-American. Now she's saying she's going to continue building the wall. How is it any different? And the Energy Secretary said, well, Donald Trump's version of the wall was nonsense, basically. We're going to build it properly. I mean, a wall is a wall is a wall. Like, it's a little bit of a border or a fence or whatever it is to stop people crossing a border. But the Democrats are going to build it biglier and betterer. And the other thing, of course, to remember is that Texas, when they tried to put up their own fences, barbed wire fences, to stop people from crossing from Mexico into Texas. The Biden administration went to court to force them to take the fences down. And now we're meant to believe that Harris actually wants to keep building the wall. And when she went down to visit the other day, she was wearing this necklace that is widely believed to be a $64,000 Tiffany necklace. I mean, that's what you'd wear to go and visit the southern border.
You're trying to give the illegals a vision of what's possible in the United States after we let you in.
You, like me, can move into a middle-class neighbourhood with people who really care about their lawn, and one day, despite the fact that you can't get 3 words out straight, end up with a 64 grand Tiffany necklace and be in the running for president.
The worst part is they know that they can do this now. The Dems can suddenly pretend and make all these ridiculous promises about building a wall and being just as tough on illegal immigration as that Trump campaign is promising to be, because they know the damage is already done. As per the story, the tweet we just read you from Elon Musk crunching the numbers, the damage is already done. You've got over 10 million illegals that have flooded into the country, many of them directly into key swing states. These guys have already shored up their future success, and now they can say, no, we genuinely will be tough on the border.
And just on her claim that, as prosecutor, I prosecuted all these illegals. Well, she was only able to prosecute illegals because someone provided the resources and the policy for law enforcement to do their job. So she shouldn't get any credit for that either.
I know. Well, they used to call her Kamala the cop, and then that all sort of disappeared when she went off to be a rep, and now she's tough on the border again. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. While we're talking about Kamala Harris, her husband, Doug Emhoff, of course, is often seen standing behind her. He does his dues and just sort of, looks like he's the handbag, which is his role, of course, in this situation. But he fronted up for an interview with Jen Psaki, who you might remember was a former spin
White
doctor.
House presser.
White House spin doctor for Joe Biden. She is now on American television, and she's interviewing Doug, asking him, you potentially being the first man of the United States and the first second man of the United States, you are reshaping masculinity.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny, I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this.
Your dad was like...
Like what? You effeminate?
What does he mean? My dad was like this. Newsflash, man supports wife. It's breaking news. Can you believe he's doing it?